Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of 2D with James and Vanya. So this week we're going to be talking about...
Am I supposed to say something?
I figured you would say hello, but, you know, since you're
fucking
an antisocial twat, you're just not
I was on
gonna
my
say anything.
phone.
That figures.
Because I don't care about you.
We're professionals! Anyway... Talking about news, game design, all that bullshit. So to start things off this week, last week we talked about 38 Studios being in some financial trouble. Well, that came to a head, because now 38 Studios is gone.
Yeah, man, that sucks. That's a bummer.
I mean, it's a bummer to see any game studio just completely shut down due to monetary issues.
I mean, it was mismanaged to hell, but like, still sucks whenever people lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Especially this industry's so cutthroat about this shit too. Like, yeah, it sucks.
I mean, it has to be cutthroat though, because at this point, gaming is such a huge investment for any company. Like, to get a game made costs millions and millions of dollars, or at least a AAA one like they were making with Kingdoms of Amalur.
I don't know. Would you call that triple? I guess suppose.
I mean, they got R.A. Salvatore writing it. They have Spawn guy drawing it.
Which maybe they should have had someone good design it.
Yeah, they obviously spent a lot of money getting that project off the ground.
Ripping off Fable.
Ripping off Fable. Yes, that's what they were doing.
They're just like, fuck it, we need $4 million a month on Fable. Some fun people playing Fable and figuring out how they did it.
We just need $4 million a month to send our spy over to Lionhead and watch Peter Molyneux defecate onto people's desks.
It's funny because he barely like worked on the last on Fable 3 and on Fable Heroes or whatever the newest one was.
That's not surprising. Maybe they'll be good because of it. Oh!
Yeah, too bad they already came out, and that's not true.
Yeah, I know. But still, Peter Molyneux's a douche.
He is not. He's cool. Did you read that article where he talks about like how this is his last chance to make the game he wants to make?
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he it was a while ago. He talks about how he is so limited by like how huge Lionhead had become thanks to Microsoft and Fable's success and stuff, and how like it was like he was spending maybe half an hour a week designing anything, and the rest of it was just doing interviews and fucking going around the country and doing a bunch of other business shit that had nothing to do with games.
Oh well, that kind of sucks. I mean, my problem with him just stems from making promises that he was not able to keep.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. I'd rather have someone who has vision than like a realist, I guess.
Yeah, but what good is vision if it's not something that can be realized?
I don't know, if you ever listen to any of his talks or whatever, he's very inspirational. He talks about how games are, this unique medium and how he's very interesting to listen to.
Obviously he's very passionate about the medium, and that's cool. I appreciate that, but at the same time, deliver on some of your promises or people are going to stop taking you seriously, is what the problem comes down to.
Yeah.
Like, Fable was fun. The first Fable was a good game, but it wasn't 50% of the things that people were expecting,
It wasn't Oblivion.
Which, that's probably a point in its favor. I wasn't wanting an Elder Scrolls game.
No, but people have always played Oblivion, and they were like, man, this one Fable should have been so fucking big, and you can do whatever you want. Nah.
I mean, Fable had a lot more character and charm than Oblivion did.
Ugh. I read an article a long time ago on my blog about how, like, I compared Fable and Oblivion, and just the concept art, and it was so horrible.
Well, what it comes down to is Bethesda aren't artists.
They have good artists. It's just their concepts, like the Fallout 3 concept art was fantastic, but It just doesn't translate well into the game. Like when it comes to animating anything or making anything that's gonna move or be a human being, it's like shit.
So they don't have animators.
Well, they can fucking make rocks and grass and landscapes look really good.
Or even like good 3D modelers. I mean, people in Oblivion looked fucking jacked, dude. That stuff was
pretty
not,
terrible.
That stuff was not appealing to the eyes. The environment was.
It's also like the most boring area of Elder Scrolls in Oblivion. It was the Empire, right?
I don't know if I agree with that. It was generic, but it looked pretty.
It didn't. It did not. It had a lot of bloom.
I mean, I turned Bloom off. I played on PC.
Oh, I played Xbox. It was like the Xbox game to play besides Ghost Recon.
I liked. I mean, okay. Here's the thing. When I played Skyrim, it was too gloom and doom. It was all rocks and snow, and if there were trees and grass, they were a very muted green.
Awesome.
In Oblivion, everything was like bright and colorful, and it looked
nice. And shitty.
I don't know. I guess the last time I played Oblivion was with high-res texture packs and shit, so maybe I have a clouded vision of what it looked like because that's my most recent experience with it. But
Skyrim was just more unified. It had more unified vision than Oblivion. Oblivion was just random shit. Fucking, it was like, hey, here's forests and fucking ruins. Fucking the tube areas that you ever went into.
Ruins and caves.
Yeah, the main city. Yeah, like one city, and and the fucking woods and the ruins, like the same copy pasted ruins over and over.
Yeah, I suppose. You're right, but I thought the forests looked nicer than the forests in Skyrim.
You can climb that mountain.
You can climb that mountain. I mean, at least that was a promise they kept.
You can't do anything once you're there, but...
I mean, yeah. But you can still climb that mountain.
Anywho's.
So, yeah, 38 Studios just fucking failed. It says here in this article that Kingdoms of Amalur was supposed to give gamers a taste of what was to come with Copernicus, the MMO they were working on. But overall, they thought Amalur failed.
It did fail. It was supposed to make like $3 million or something. It only made like 1.2.
Right.
Did you play Amalur?
I played it for a few hours. I found it enjoyable but repetitive, to the point that I didn't want to finish all 40 hours of it.
I mean, I hear people. Okay, so what I've heard is that you should not do any of the side quests because they're not worth your time, and you'll end up over leveling. And a game that should have been like 20 hours ends up being like 60.
Right, I've heard the same thing. I had a friend at work that played a lot of it. He really enjoyed playing the wizard because like the casting animations and shit were all really cool, and it felt good casting and blowing up enemies. But what it comes down to is it had a really unique creative vision, but the game just didn't keep up.
Here's my biggest problem with it. When they hired Salvatore, I can't prove any of this, right? It's not anywhere, but do you realize, like, when you go to a town in Amalur, you can talk to everybody about everything. Like, everybody in the fucking town will tell you everything about everything. Like, you know, oh, I want to talk about the Fae, and I want to, like, this guy, like, and they have dialogue for all this stuff, which, I mean, probably is where they lost a lot of money, because it was like, I don't need you to specifically record this, like, this guy telling me about the Fae, and there are, like, 30 people in this town who all want to tell me about the Fae, and it's not even, like, quest-related or anything, it's just fucking, you have 6, like, you go up to everybody, you have, like, 6 to, like, 8 options to pick from. And I'm like, okay, should I be talking to these people? No, it was just backstory. I was like, man, it was overwhelming.
It was. It was definitely overwhelming, and I feel like a lot of fantasy games like that, you're better off leaving all that backstory to the player's discretion.
Yeah.
To whether or not they even want to delve into it. Like when you're playing Elder Scrolls, you don't need to fucking know anything. And if you do, there's a whole library full of books you can read about it.
Yeah, and like you can talk to people about stuff, but only people that matter. You can't just fucking go up to anybody. Like If you go up to someone, they say, "Oh, I fucking," blah, blah, blah," and then it's like, okay, that guy obviously can't be talked to. He says like two things or that loop. Like, you don't need to have all 30 villagers in this town completely interactable.
I mean, I see why they would try to do it to make the world feel alive,
But it's not.
At the same time, it feels forced.
Yeah, like,
It's
why would... And the dialogue isn't particularly good, and the voice acting isn't that great because it's just some random fucking town person.
Right,
who,
like
you
the
know,
voice acting on the main characters is good.
Yeah.
But the ones on the town people are obviously, they probably just use the developers.
Yeah, it's not. I'm like, I don't even know why the fuck this is in here. Like, I don't get it. Well, you could have just stuck this in a book or something. And also, this is kind of a personal thing, but when I watched someone who has a further in character than I ever had, because I just didn't really care enough for the game, I watched it, and he was a rogue, right? So he had 2 daggers and like a bow, and he loaded up his character. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to play," and I was like, "All right, I'll watch." And he went into town and he started a conversation with someone. So his daggers had like fire; they were like glowing fire, right? Then his gloves that he was wearing were glowing poison, which was like green, right? And then his bow was also glowing, and then he also had like a darkness effect thing on his like chest area. Or chest. So he had like 6 glows going on, and he was just running around, and those are just full on, like, in the conversations and everything. And I was like, I can't even take this seriously. Like, what the hell?
I mean,
it was so absurd.
The game itself, though, was obviously meant to be kind of absurd. Amalur never took itself seriously. At any
Story-wise, or just... it's distracting. It's not cool to look at.
Visually, it's a mess.
Okay, well, like, the worlds look great and everything, but that, I was like, fuck, that, it was just so annoying.
I know, I mean, visually, all that glowing is a mess.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unrealistic given the world that the game takes place in.
It's just stupid.
It's silly, is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So, moving on from that, and this actually, I think we can tie this in to just the idea of studios shutting down because multi-million-dollar games aren't as successful as they would hope they would be. Epic Games is talking some shit.
About 38?
No, not about 38, about the next consoles. The PS4 and the Xbox whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Recently they went on record saying that we need a drastic leap in graphics for the next generation consoles.
You're talking about the thing... sorry, go ahead.
They said they've gotten a peek at the next consoles, and that neither will be enough to provide the type of performance that they are building the new Unreal Engine for.
Go ahead.
See, they say they're pushing Sony and Microsoft to add more power to the consoles, but they don't know if it's actually going to happen.
So, are you talking about that one article where Cliffy was like, we need to be able to render Avatar real time?
No, this is something else. Something else entirely. Okay. This was a couple days ago. Epic came out. Well, okay, yeah. During an interview, Cliffy said that they would have to damn near render Avatar in real time, and gamers want it even if they don't know they want it yet.
Which is true.
Epic is prepping the 4th iteration of the Unreal Engine, and evidently it's going to require some monster specs on the part of Sony and Microsoft new machines.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing. I don't know if I really don't think he's right. I don't think the gamers necessarily want to be able to render Avatar in real time.
Okay.
And second of all, I don't think that that's possible in this coming generation.
I mean, it's Cliffy, you know, he's very hyperbolic. But, like, here's the thing. Think about a game. People, okay, I don't know what you think. When people tell me, like, more graphics and more polygons and all this shit, you think, like, you know, L.A. Noire or something like crazy realistic, right? Like, think like Borderlands 2 or 3 or whatever, when 3 comes out, inevitably. If that game had more polygons and more hardware to run it, it would still be stylized and artistic and cool looking, but it would run way better and it would look way better. You would still have the style. Like there's nothing wrong with having a more capable machine.
I agree with you, But at the same time, think about the conversation we had not 10 minutes ago about how cutthroat the video game industry is. Don't you think it's a little self-defeating to continuously focus on making games that have to sell 20 million copies before a studio can break even? Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know. If Epic sells the engine for roughly about the same, which they usually do, then I don't really know where the. I mean, you're just giving more. You're giving the creators more power. You don't need to hire like more modelers. It's just those modelers that you already have would have more resources to work with.
yeah, and it's still gonna. We're still gonna be in an industry that is continuously focusing on nothing but more and more tech and more power, which costs more and more money. And
For Epic,
we're just going to continue making games that have to sell all those many copies just to break even. And that's why studios like big, huge games get shut down.
no, they get shut down because their parent company was mismanaged.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but at the same time, if Kingdoms of Amalur had sold better, the money probably wouldn't have been that big of an issue.
Yeah, but it also wasn't very good.
I think the industry is I don't know, like I'm not entirely sure that we should be focusing on this graphics arms race.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's always been this way ever since like the Super Nintendo.
No, I know it's always been this way. Like back blast processing or whatever with the Sega Genesis.
Fucking Mode 7 and shit.
An 8-bit versus 16-bit because the Genesis came out in like 89 and the Super Nintendo didn't come out till 91.
But it had Mode 7, which blew away the Genesis.
Oh yeah, and it blew away blast processing, which is what Sega's thing was. And yeah, it's always been around, but is that a good thing? Is that something that we should... But even back then, though, games didn't cost that much to make. They weren't as big of a risk. And that's why we continuously get games like Call of Duty every year that end up fucking sucking.
You could also make the argument that it's not all development costs. Games are big now, so they require TV budgets, they require, commercial budgets, advertising, you have to have marketing, all that shit costs way more money now. So... I mean, I don't know how much of the development stuff for 38 Studios was actual development and how much was, the rest of it.
Also, an interesting thing to think about with this is how long do console generations usually last? Like 5 years seems to be a...
Yeah, we're way past that now. We're like coming up on 7.
This will be the 7th year for the 360
8.
and the 6th year for the other two.
Isn't it 8? It was 2004.
No, the 360 dropped in 05.
What? Really?
I guarantee you.
Alright. Well, that was the same year as WoW.
No, it was the year after WoW.
Okay.
Anyway, we're definitely coming up on a need for a new console generation.
Well, yeah, that's what's making people stay safe, is because there's no point developing anything new.
But look at the console games we have today versus the console games that we had 7 years ago. Developers are just now really, really getting it.
Getting what? How to use the hardware?
How to use the hardware.
But that's true of any generation.
Okay, the games at the end of a generation do always look better. But today you have Battlefield 3 on a 360 versus Call of Duty 2. I'm using these two because they're both first-person shooters, and one's a launch title and one's a more recent game.
Yeah, Battlefield 3 came on 2 discs and had an install.
I mean, that's obvious. That's a fucking problem of media. That's not a problem of power. Battlefield 3 fit on one PlayStation 3 disc.
Right.
I mean, the 360 using DVDs was a mistake out the gate, I think.
Well, it was all that was there.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if they can use HD DVDs. They pushed the
They
360.
did.
They pushed.
I almost bought one of those fucking things. I almost had an HD DVD drive for my 360.
I was pretty close to owning one several times. I would go into Sam's Club, where they were like $150 and came with like King Kong. and I was like, man, I kind of want that. I want to
Yeah.
see it in
King Kong,
HD.
like 3 hours, and it's like 1,000 points.
No, I mean King Kong the game, the movie.
Oh no! Wait, the movie or the game?
The movie. It was the HD DVD drive. It came
Oh,
with King
oh,
Kong for like $150, and I
oh
was like,
god!
oh god, I kind of want to do it just so I can see what HD movies look like. And then
For
I never did, and then I got a PS3, and I'm really glad that I never bought a fucking HD DVD drive.
Jesus, such.
But either way, you know, we're
Porn.
just now understanding how to use these consoles, and I feel like they have a couple more years of juice in them.
Like, yeah, 2 or
And
3.
it just seems silly to try and push new consoles out, especially if they're underpowered. And
I
I
don't know.
don't think power is something that we should continue to focus on, I guess. I guess that's really my main point. I don't
Yeah.
think that power is necessarily the thing that makes games good.
Yeah, but that's not the job of Microsoft. That's not the job of Epic. That's the job of developers. Like, their job is to give you the most powerful hardware they can give you for you to make shit on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like, totally forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah,
They
I don't know.
provide the tools, you do what you can with them.
Yeah, games have always strived to look fucking incredible. There's a fucking Donkey Kong Country had like filters, like snow and shit. Blew my goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Or when like Conker's Bad Fur Day was way better looking than any N64 game. That was, it sells. Graphics sell.
Okay, I agree with you because you read a lot of people talking about how we shouldn't be focusing on expanding technology. Should be focusing on more imagination and more ideas and stuff like that. But what it comes down to is the people that are providing the power aren't the ones that are providing the ideas.
Yeah, it's not Microsoft. It's not like Microsoft's not going to be like, all right, well, okay. I remember what I was going to say. Honestly, I would be happier with a slightly more powerful 360 that had all digital media and came with a 250 gig hard drive that didn't cost like $1,000.
Right. It's interesting to think
That's
about
enough for
though,
me.
because
Built-in Connect.
power in consoles is almost chasing it and making it a relevant part of your console is almost a moot point. Because we're 7 years into this console generation? Hell, I'll say 6 years if you don't want to count the year head start the 360 had, because they didn't have shit that first year.
Yeah, Call of Duty 2.
Okay, they had Call of Duty 2.
Wait, Ghost Recon launched the first year.
They had Call of
Didn't
Duty
it?
2, Ghost Recon,
And Oblivion.
and Oblivion. So they had a bunch of PC games before the generation started.
The PS3 and the fucking PS3 had what? Uncharted 1.
I mean, at least that was original.
What the fuck? No, it was
At least
not.
it wasn't jacked from a
It was
fucking PC.
Jack. They should have had Jack. No, fuck no. Fuck,
What I'm saying is
no.
Call of Duty, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, and Oblivion were all PC games first.
That's true.
And it's obvious that they got on the 360 like they did because it was the first one out the gate. Which is
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. If people wanted to experience those games that way on a console, that's perfect for them. But the 360 didn't have a defining title in its first year in existence.
Yeah, I guess Oblivion was the biggest thing it had. What was the first? Gears?
Gears or
Like
Halo
Project-
3?
Project Gotham or something?
When Halo 3... Geometry Wars, there you go.
Geometry Wars. Project. Dude, I bought a 360 for Geometry Wars.
Dude, that game was the shit.
When I bought my 360, I was like, I'll take Ghost Recon, and I'll take a $20 point card,
So I could go home and buy Geo Wars.
and fucking spend way more time playing that.
Which I did. Never
Speaking of
made it
Ghost-
to 1,000,000 without dying.
Yeah, that shit wasn't possible. Speaking of which, I played Future Soldier.
How is it?
It's good. Surprisingly good. I've heard so much mess about it. And now that it's out, it's actually good. I thought it was good.
Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, Blizzard has delayed the Diablo 3 auction house.
Who gives a shit?
That's interesting to me because that was a big selling point for the game.
Really? Do you think anyone bought it because of that?
I mean, it was a maybe they didn't buy it because of it, but it was a big deal. Like people
That's
were
true.
excited about it, excited about like selling things for real money and making money on it. It's not something that I particularly was shitting my dick over, but some people were.
I would never use that in 1,000 years.
I would consider selling stuff on it just to see if I could do it. I would never buy things from it.
Do you get? How does it work? Does it just go to your Battle.net account?
It
Like,
deposits
what?
money into your Battle.net account, which can, as far as I read, can then be like deposited into your bank and stuff.
It's weird.
It's very odd. Anyway, the real money auction service was originally planned to launch the 22nd, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was pushed back until May 29th. So that's what, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Today being Friday, depending on when people listen to this. But Blizzard now says they need a bit more time to iron out the existing general stability and gameplay issues
Yep. Yeah, that sounds right.
in order to ensure everyone has the smoothest experience possible with the service. And while the company didn't suggest a new date for launch, it did promise they have more information soon. I personally think this has everything to do with the fact people's accounts are getting hacked.
That's not a Blizzard thing, though. That's like a people being dumb thing, according to Blizzard.
Well, yeah, but if they can fix their or make their servers even a little more stable, that's
Yeah,
probably
it's a
something.
stability issue.
That's something that they need to work on before they're pitting, fucking real money,
Yeah, exactly.
people's real money into these situations.
They actually came out with a report and said that the hacking stuff is all it's all like people losing their account names or whatever. It's not has nothing to do with like Battle.net being compromised.
See, here's the thing. I play WoW a lot. I played WoW a lot. I still play WoW on occasion. The best investment I ever made after getting hacked a couple times was that $5 authenticator. Literally.
The app.
It's like, okay, I don't get the app for my phone because I fuck with my phone too much. And if you have to, like factory reset your phone, the authenticator goes away and it loses that tie to your account. So if you re-download the authenticator from the App Store, it has a different like serial code to it.
So you just fucked them?
Well, no, you have to call Blizzard every time I would fucking like have to reformat my phone.
Really? You can't just like forgot my password?
Nope. To get an
That's
authenticator removed, you literally have to call Blizzard.
Well, I guess that's good and bad.
So I bought I bought the little $5 thing. It's like free shipping, and you just tie it to your account. I've left it on my computer desk ever since.
It's funny that it's only $5. Something Blizzard made.
It's really cheap. Well, Blizzard, they're not making money off of them, is what it is.
Well, they don't want to lose money. Is the thing,
Right,
like
right. They're not selling them for profit. They're selling
Right.
them.
Stability of the game.
Yeah, they're selling them for how much they cost to make, and I think it's a great investment for anyone who's playing a game on Battle.net, especially if you're a dumbass that goes to websites where you get fucking keyloggers. And I don't
Yeah.
mean to sound like a douche calling people dumbasses, but what kind of websites are you people going to?
You can say it. You go to Blizzard.net.
Yeah.
Blizzard
Blizzard _developer Activision.com.
Blizzard.ussr.
It's not even that though. You get keyloggers if you go to like buy World of Warcraft gold. It's like we know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You're going to shady ass websites and not fucking covering your ass first.
Always cover your ass.
And that's how they get you.
Anal bum cover.
And you see all these people bitch and moan, and they're like, "Why can't you just have better servers to build bullshit?" Fucking shut up. You're dumb. You're wrong. All right.
And you're dumb again.
You have a keylogger. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's what they were reporting.
And Blizzard didn't give it to you. You got it yourself somehow.
Because it's not in their interest.
No, it's the opposite of their interest.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just buy an authenticator. They're like $6. You win. Game over.
Right, and the auction house isn't out yet, along with the PvP.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who cares about that. You have fucking Diablo 3 to play. Go play that. Don't stop complaining.
Yeah, really. You have a game you've been waiting a decade for. People say they've been waiting 12 years. I think that's bullshit. The game came out 12 years ago. You didn't want Diablo 3 the day you got Diablo 2.
Yeah.
Shit.
Like, oh, man.
You wanted that game for a decade. You're playing it. You're
Well,
probably
you wanted it for like 7 years. The first 3 years are pretty good.
You're probably happy that you're playing it. Let the new stuff come. It'll come when it comes. Just chill out.
It comes.
It's literally not like you have a fucking like drought of entertainment or anything. There's
Yeah.
plenty for you to do.
That sounds shitty, like excusing, like, oh, well. But that stuff's all additional, It's like, I don't know.
I mean, PvP in Diablo? Shit, that shit sucked in Diablo 2.
I guess that's what they want to balance it.
Ugh.
They should have kept dueling or something. They should have kept, like, dueling or something in.
Yeah, that would have been good, but it's a fucking dungeon crawler, man. I don't play that game to fight other people. And when other people would try to fight me in Diablo 2, it would be annoying.
Yeah, you had, like, PvP server, like, rooms that people would make, and you just walk out of town and get obliterated. It was terrible.
Yeah, and then you're playing like a fucking hardcore mode character, and you're dead forever. Congratulations.
Oh, never done that. Anyway, what? Anything else on the news docket?
Oh yeah, because we're speaking of things related to World of Warcraft.
Great. What I was talking about. WoW.
Well, not really WoW, but it desperately wants to be. There's been more news about the Elder Scrolls MMO. Like anybody in the world gives a damn. Anyway,
it's not for what.
I only want to bring this up.
First person. How do you make it first person? It needs to be first person.
Yeah. Now, it's funny you bring that up because, in my opinion, if it's not in first person, it's virtually not an Elder Scrolls game.
It totally is, and it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking retarded, and I don't see that there's maybe like some crazy technical challenge about having a first person MMO. Like, I mean, you could even have the tapping the stupid hotkeys, but it needs to be first person.
Now, what's funny is the game's director has come out and said that it will be recognizable to fans thanks to the lore.
Oh, great. There'll be those weird loopy columns outside of all the ruined fucking ruins that I'll have to go inside of. I'm sure the cave walls will glisten in that weird Gamebryo familiar way.
It's not being made with Gamebryo. It's being made on the same engine as Tor was, actually.
Great. So everything will be gray and poorly optimized.
And shitty. Also, I think it might take place in Tamriel, the Oblivion world, because he's talking about the Imperial City.
I thought Tamriel was everything.
Is it?
If this game comes out and it doesn't have every single area, it's fucking done. It's already done.
Tamriel is the whole thing. Cyrodiil was the main.
Cyrodiil. Yeah, it has to have everything. There's no way it doesn't have everything. Right?
I mean, this guy's talking about the Imperial City, and that's in Cyrodiil.
Yeah, but that'll be the capital. It'll be the fucking Ironforge.
Alright, I hope you're right. Okay, I would check out Elder Scrolls Online to go to the Black Marsh, where the fucking Argonians are from.
I'd want to go to the desert where the Redguard are from.
That shit sound is cool as hell, and they've never gone there.
That's true.
Like, Morrowind is whatever, because for Land of the Dark Elves, like I care. Fucking...
Hammerfell was before that.
Right, Hammerfell was... No, not Hammerfell. Daggerfell.
You're right. Hammerfell's in WoW, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh god. Well, there you go.
I
That's all
don't I
that
don't know
needs.
what Daggerfell was the land of
Daggerfall.
or whatever.
It was
Um,
the red.
Redguard. Okay. Cyrodiil was like the land of the normal humans. Literally,
Or
it was the Imperials.
boring.
Skyrim was like the land of the Viking Nords, which is cool. Which
Awesome.
is cool. But
Maybe we'll go get to see the Bretons. Ugh.
but Black Marsh always sounded cool, and I don't even really like Argonians that much. Like just like a swampy fucking like land full of mercenaries, because that's where like all the Argonians have a cool backstory. You know, they have that like sect of them that are raised as mercenaries from the day they're born.
Okay, maybe this is what you're talking about, but I played an Argonian in Skyrim because I just like everyone hates the Argonians in Skyrim, so I wanted to just be hated by everybody. So I was a thief slash assassin dude, and when I was walking around town, an Argonian walked past me, and he's like, ah, you look like the shadow scales of old lore,
That's
and I'm
it.
like, what? That sounds fucking awesome. What is that?
The only reason I know what a shadow scale is they mention them in the Dark Brotherhood quest line in Oblivion.
Oh,
Like they're that's what they are. They're literally like raised from the day they're born to be assassins.
it's
So I
badass.
imagine there's a cool like culture out there. I would like to see that place. Hopefully,
We can count on it not being explored at all.
exactly. So what do you think about like the MMO design philosophy of we have to be World of Warcraft to beat World of Warcraft?
Did you? There was an article on Gama Sutra, I think, talking about. This is kind of funny, but it was an article saying, "Is Guild Wars 2 the answer to stagnant MMO design?" And it was an interview with the brand director of the people making Guild Wars 2, and
So
I was like,
yes,
"Oh yeah, great! This will be informative." Um, but he was saying, I mean, what he said was still valid. He was saying people trying to make WoW is like people try to make WoW again thinking that it's like a safe bet, like, oh, if we make this again, it's familiar and people will make more money that way, which, seems to be true on the console market or whatever. But he was saying that's the opposite. If you make something like WoW, people are not going to buy it because it is WoW. They already have WoW. You should give them something that WoW can't give them.
I've been saying
Which,
that for years.
yeah, like, Terra. I mean, I don't know if Guild Wars is necessarily the answer, like, but it's a step in the right direction. I MMOs are weird because they're so much more limited by technology than really any other genre.
What's funny is they're not just limited by technology; they're limited by their player base.
That's true.
MMOs are unique in that they share a player base all the time. With first-person shooters, you have your groups of people that prefer Halo, and your groups of people that prefer Call of Duty, and your groups of people that prefer Battlefield.
Hmm.
You have three different first-person shooters and three different groups of people playing them. With MMOs, it seems that the people that play MMOs always play the big MMO.
Yeah, like people who are hardcore in WoW are not gonna skip. They're at least gonna try Terra.
Right. And the people that are hardcore in WoW, that have been playing MMOs for a long time, like WoW wasn't their first MMO, the majority of those people came from EverQuest.
Hmm.
And then they went on to like Dark Age of Camelot, or maybe Asheron's Call, or something like that. There's always
God, Asheron's Call. I haven't thought about that shit.
that one big MMO that has every person that plays MMOs playing it.
Right, and then you're left with a decent sized community after the new one comes out.
Yeah.
That's gonna be around forever
Yeah.
for some reason.
And eventually, the old ones, like you have the big one, and then the next big one. So then that old one has a decent community, and then the next big one comes out, and then that old one finally dies, and it just passes on.
Doesn't really die. I mean, you can still play Dark Age of Camelot.
Yeah, you can still play EverQuest, but you don't want to. There probably isn't much of a community there for it.
There was actually a trailer for EverQuest 2 recently.
That's insane.
They introduced flying. You can just fly now.
like your character.
Yeah.
Just like Superman.
No, you have wings, and you can pick which wings you want. They were like reptile wings and dragon wings and like angel wings, and they had Flight of the Valkyries playing during the trailer.
That's okay. That's kind of silly and at the same time kind of hilarious and kind of awesome.
What part of it is awesome? The Flight of the Valkyries part?
Yeah, just that is the perfect concoction of stupid to just be like, yeah, they're doing it.
Yeah, fucking whoa.
But anyway, back to what I was saying. The MMO market doesn't really allow for two big MMOs at the same time.
It could.
Bro, there are fucking 10 million people playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
10 or 11. That's everyone that cares about MMOs.
and a lot of people that don't. I don't think that's true. I think you could have several big ones.
I don't think it's possible.
Maybe not as big. You're obviously not 30 million people fucking playing MMOs, but like, well, maybe there are. But you could have decently sized MMOs that aren't WoW. Like, you know, what would you consider a respectable player base?
I would say you have to crack 1 million at this point to be considered relevant.
All right.
MMOs cost more to make than other games. They cost more to maintain than other games.
Right.
Because first-person shooters have the convenience of people maintaining the game themselves.
Well, on
servers.
PC anyway.
On PC, yeah, but I speak primarily for PC at this point. I haven't played a regular console game in a long time.
Yeah, well, you're the minority.
Yeah, I understand that. But I mean, for what it's worth, MMOs are pretty much a fucking PC only genre.
That's true.
There's like a couple. But you know, you look at Final Fantasy XIV and how fast that tanked. Look at how fast Tor.
Okay. Well, that tanked because it was a terrible game, not because it was an MMO.
Okay, look at how fast Tor tanked.
Yeah, I mean, did it?
It kinda did.
Are there numbers for that stuff?
Let me do a quick look for it.
Because people said that like Warhammer tanked after the first month, and it had like 1 million going for like a year or so.
Okay, this article is from May 8th, so that was pretty recently. That was less than a month ago. Electronic Arts reported a drop in Star Wars: The Old Republic subscriber base down to 1.3 million from 1.7 million in February. So in the course of about 2 months, they dropped 400,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal.
No, if they stay over 1 million, that'd be fine.
Yeah,
sure.
but they're hemorrhaging people faster than they're gaining them at that point.
I don't think you're trying to. In an MMO, I don't think you're trying to gain people. I think you're just trying to keep the people you have.
I suppose that's true, but at the same time, you know, you want it to grow. I mean, that's the point. WoW grew over time.
Yeah, but they had expansions and shit that. Yeah, okay, it's fair.
How about this? As of the end of April 2012, 2.4 million units of the Old Republic have been sold. That means that only half of those people are still playing.
Yeah, alright, you have a point.
To me, that's a pretty big deal. They sold 2.4 million units, only 1.3 are playing. Only 50. They've managed to retain 50% of their player base. That's kind of low.
Yeah, it really is.
Half the people that played it decided it wasn't worth their time.
Yeah, okay. I think that's another problem with MMOs. Really, like as a design problem, is that they just, like Call of Duty. You buy it, you fucking play it, and then you're done. Like MMOs, you just fucking play forever. The point is for you to play forever.
That's my point about them not being able to have more than one on the market at a time do really well.
That's true. You're right. It's just fucking like, oh man, you're not going to be playing 2 MMOs simultaneously, I guess.
No, you're not.
Okay, I could see someone playing something like PlanetSide 2 and WoW.
or Firefall and WoW. But those
Oh,
are
Firefall.
MMO FPSs and MMO RPGs.
Oh, Firefall is not good.
I haven't played it yet. I got a
I
beta
played,
invite the
I
other day.
played the beta. Meh.
So, how do you fix it? I think you got to come along with something really groundbreaking, and I don't think that's going to happen until Blizzard drops their next MMO.
I don't think you do necessarily. Like, yeah, it's great that Terra has action game like combat and all that stuff, and that's definitely a step in the right direction. But you look at WoW. Why was WoW successful? It wasn't because it was groundbreaking. It was successful because it took MMOs, it took basically EverQuest, and made it completely accessible. Right. So it's like you just need to take, something that at this point though, WoW's been around for so long and fucking everybody's played it. Like your mom is fucking but some like oh, excuse me. Everyone's played it and they're sick of it. It's been around for so long they're sick of it. So I don't know.
Or at the very least, they've played it, they're still playing it, and they're looking for something new. And they don't want to sit down to something that's reskinned WoW. Because if they're going to do that, they may as well just keep playing WoW.
Yeah, and having a deep and interesting story does not... That was a downfall of Old Republic. Well, it appeals to someone like me, who enjoys that stuff. The MMO crowd skips all the quest dialogue.
Right.
And fucking wants to just grind 8 pigs or whatever the fuck. Like, it's not...
Well, I think that's a dumb way to take MMO design anyway, because I really feel that MMOs should never be focused on a single player experience.
It's true. I mean, that's why...
You sit down to Tor.
Excuse me.
I mean, you don't really want to be playing KOTOR 3. I mean, you do want to be playing KOTOR 3.
You wish you weren't playing
I wish I was playing KOTOR 3. But you have this unique medium in video games where you literally have thousands upon thousands of people playing with you at the same time. Why are you so worried about a single player experience?
I think that's something that WoW bred. What's the most popular class in WoW?
Class? I have no idea. Probably Hunter, maybe?
Probably Hunter or Rogue,
Hunter,
right?
Druid, some...
Dude,
okay, you haven't played WoW in a long time. Druid got really popular.
Hey, my roommate just walked in. Okay, maybe you're right. Well, the people who play it now are still hardcore. So, I'm talking about what was initially probably the most popular.
Probably Rogue or Hunter.
And why is that?
Because they can solo things.
Because you don't have to play with anybody else.
Okay, I'll give you that. But WoW, especially in its infancy, still focused on things where you had to be with other people to do them.
Yeah, but it was always a chore. It was always like, oh man, I fucking gotta find other people, so I gotta fucking, it's easy now where you can just hit a button and it goes, but like, I don't know. It never. I think a game that did it really well was Warhammer. Warhammer had the public quest system, which was awesome.
Right.
Like I remember, I had a friend who played Warhammer, and she played WoW for a really long time, and she was playing Warhammer, and Warhammer has just open groups. Like you could just join a group; you don't have to be invited. And she was doing the same quest as like 3 other people, and I was like, "Why don't you just join their group or create a group and you all join it together?" She was like, "No, I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to engage these other people." Like. And that's the mentality. It's
that sucks, because whenever I would run into someone in WoW, just a random person, obviously on the same quest as me, I would invite them. Let's do this together. That's fine. That's why we're here. Hell, Terra was great with it. I mean, it might have been just because Terra had just come out and it was new, but there's so many people in the questing zones that you could be like, hey, come do this shit with me.
Yeah, or hey, anyone want to group up together or whatnot?
Now, WoW might be fixing that a little bit, because I don't know if you saw this, but they're introducing cross-realm zones in Mists of Pandaria.
Oh yeah, they've definitely fixed it a lot, but I'm just saying you're not going to get past that mentality of like people just wanting to play by themselves.
But at that point, they're playing an MMO wrong. I mean, I know don't tell people how to play their video games, but come on.
Yeah,
You're playing in a massive. It's in the name, massively multiplayer, that you want to play by yourself.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's in the design of the game though. Like a rogue can solo really well.
Right.
A hunter is designed to solo really well. And if I don't think you should take away that choice. It's like, hey, if you want to play with other people, you'd be a priest. If you want to play with other people, you'd be a tank. But when everyone else is a fucking rogue and you're the only tank, then that's not.
Yeah.
It's not encouraging.
So there's definitely a problem at the root of class.
Here's a way to fix that. I think experience shouldn't only come from killing things, because the classes that kill things the best are going to be the most popular. Like a system that rewards you for tanking and or healing. Like it just makes sense. I mean, it's probably a really hard thing to make, but
That's an interesting thought, for sure. I mean, something has to be done. MMOs are stagnant at this point. Just completely stagnant.
well, it's because they're all making the same game. It's like Dota style. They're making the same game again.
Everybody's just... You know what the worst part is? Everybody's making WoW, but nobody's making WoW with Blizzard's fucking 8 years of experience.
Yeah, you're not gonna make it as well.
At best, you're making 2007's WoW.
Yeah, and it's just
Like Tor was like 2007's WoW with fucking BioWare cutscenes and dialogue trees.
and MMOs are not like when people say, "Oh, MMOs have quests and MMOs have classes and MMOs have like." No, MMOs are not a certain thing. They're not like when I say shooters, doesn't mean like when I say first-person shooters, like that's a game where you're in first person. That's all it means.
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's got shooter in it, but Half-Life isn't really a shooter. Like not like half of it is just sort of a walk-around adventure game.
Right.
Like it's
Metroid.
not.
Metroid Prime specifically.
Yeah, like it's just a way to perspective.
It's a perspective.
And MMO just means you have lots of people. It doesn't mean you need to have quests. Doesn't mean you need to have gathering. Doesn't mean you have to have crafting. Doesn't mean any of that.
Right.
But that's familiar, and
It's a staple of the genre, and that's what people go for familiarity.
so I'm excited about PlanetSide.
Yeah, it'll probably be cool. I'm excited to see what Blizzard has in store for their next MMO, because I don't think Blizzard's gonna make WoW 2. I think Blizzard's gonna try something different.
World of StarCraft.
God, fuck you. I would kill a man to play that game. All right.
I would love to play a Terran Ghost.
I know. Shit. Oh my god. Everyone in the world would just be a fucking Dark Templar, though.
See, I brought this up to someone and they're like, well, everyone's going to pick a Ghost. And I'm like, what? Really? I didn't think people liked Ghosts that much.
I think everybody would end up playing Dark Templar.
That's what I said.
Just
I thought
like everybody ended up playing Rogue.
I thought it would be Protoss. Yeah, like Protoss Zealot or some shit.
God, that'd be rad.
Play an Archon. Play a High Templar.
I guess what it comes
be
down
able to transform into an
that
Archon.
would be rad.
Like Avatar State.
Avatar State?
No, like the
I get
mountain.
I get it. I know what you're saying.
Fuck.
They're never gonna make it. They're never gonna make it. Just shut up. They're never gonna make it, and you know it. But
Fuck.
I think that
I guess StarCraft doesn't really have like locales. It's like nothing you
Right.
can explore really. Like Char, you gonna go to Char? Yeah, you would. But
damn
who
right
cares?
you
Who gives a shit?
But yeah.
You can go to Char and you go to Earth.
would. Yeah. Blizzard will come along and save MMOs again,
Or not.
or not.
We'll see.
I have faith that they'll do something cool. They'll do.
If they have hot bars, I'm out. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, that's ugh.
First MMO point and click adventure.
Blizzard has refined what the classic definition of MMORPG is down. It's like what they did with Diablo 3. Diablo 3 is like the perfect dungeon crawler, distilled down to what a dungeon crawler should be.
Yeah, not necessarily innovative, but refined.
Same with StarCraft 2.
Yeah. That's what they do.
Distilled down to what an RTS should be, and polished to a fucking mirror shine.
Yeah, and then occasionally they blow your mind with something new every like few years. Every time they release something that's not a sequel, it's just like, or not a sequel necessarily, but something that's a departure.
And World of Warcraft is currently the classic MMO design, polished to a mirror sheen, refined down to what an MMO means and what it should be. So I really think with Titan they're going to go in a totally different direction.
Well, let's hope.
Fingers crossed. Alright, so what have you been playing this past week?
Hold on. Let me move into my room.
Where my video game list is of things I've played.
Did you write your list down?
Oh, no, I was saying you're moving into your room to find the list.
Oh, no, my roommate's just going to watch TV or something, so I don't want to bother him. Alright, let's see. I think about this. So I finally got Diablo 3.
Congratulations.
Which, if we want to talk about that again, it is incredible, and I played it for 6 hours straight. I played it to the point where my body wouldn't let me play it anymore and made me get up and do something else.
That's... You don't usually get a game like that, but when you do, it's like a full body orgasm.
It was like I was playing with 4 other people, and my friends were like, "Man, come on, stay. Let's just fucking finish Act 1." And I was like, "I can't.
I need to eat.
My back hurts from sitting, and my ass is numb, and I need to move my body. I need to move more than just my left hand and my right index finger."
Oh God, it's painful. So that's probably all you've been doing, huh?
Actually, that was the one day I've had time to play it. That's because I came home. I was like, I'll play some Diablo 3, and then that was all I did all day. And then I was like, okay. I haven't played it since. I played. My roommate got Future Soldier, Ghost Recon, and we played the. So, okay, we played the game has a horde mode. Which
are they terrorists?
Mode. Yeah, they are. Why is that funny?
I don't know. What was the first game that had a horde mode? Like Gears of War 2?
Or Halo. I think Halo.
I think it might have been Gears of War 2. Where it had the first horde mode as we know it now. Or just
I thought Halo had Firefight.
Maybe.
I thought that was
maybe.
One of the two.
Either way, in Gears of War 2, it's these inhuman monsters pouring at you. Mm-hmm. It's just funny to think that a game where you're fighting real people. It's called
Guerrilla War something. Called Guerrilla. It's just called Guerrilla on the menus. I don't know.
That's kind of dumb.
But that's called Guerrilla?
The idea of guerrilla warfare is the opposite of what a horde mode
So check this out. I think this is a huge missed opportunity. But, so we tried playing the single player together, split screen, and we couldn't. It just wouldn't let you do it. You need to be online to play the single player, which I don't understand. But you can play the Guerrilla mode split screen. So it's obviously that's already there. It's already made. And you have multiplayer in the single player as online. So it's why can't you just... I don't get it. Maybe there's something there I don't understand from development. But so we played the Guerrilla mode. And so every 10 waves, it's a stealth wave. Oh, excuse me. Where there's enemies, and you have to capture this area. And by capture, I mean eliminate all the enemies. And it's stealth. You have to sneak around, you have to take these dudes out. And it's really cool. And it's a stealth horde mode. And it was awesome. And I was like, oh man, this is so fucking cool. And we did it, and then the next wave was go defend this fucking area. And I was like, oh, god damn it. And it was not fun. It was hide behind this wall and shoot dudes. And, it's done well, and it's cool, and it's Ghost Recon, but it's not, it feels like a missed opportunity. I feel like you should have just had a stealth guerrilla, a stealth horde mode, even separate. And that would have been cool. You have all these stealth elements that you can be using. You have a drone, you have sensor grenades to see where dudes are, which are grenades you throw and they mark everyone on your map. It was cool, and it was a real bummer when we just had to sit there and defend something with machine guns.
Yeah, that's kind of lame.
We finished it all though.
I was just thinking that guerrilla warfare is like hiding in the jungle and making like secret strikes at shit. So that doesn't
Yeah,
even like translate to the idea of a horde mode to me. And then you describe that stealth shit, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That makes
yeah.
sense. And
And every 10 waves you have to do that, but the rest of it is just like combat, and it's not fun. And the spawning is kind of poor. Enemies tend to spawn behind you, and like in areas where you are. Like I've had, so we played with 4 people, and there was a time when I was sniping, and I was behind. I was like in the corner of the map, away from everyone, taking out dudes from really far away, and a dude just spawned right next to me, like in my face.
that's dumb.
Like, I mean, he had like a spawn animation where he like climbed over the ledge of this building or whatever, but he was like right in my face.
Wait, maybe it's a cool idea that they'll like flesh out in the future and
Maybe
make better. Because
the best way. Oh, go ahead.
Ubisoft has a tendency to do that. Because remember when Splinter Cell first got multiplayer and then it like got refined into awesome?
It was awesome right out the gate.
Really? I could have sworn there was one. It had one game where it just wasn't realized. Wasn't that Pandora
No.
Tomorrow?
That was the game where it had the best multiplayer.
But then Chaos Theory came out, and that was
No,
the one that blew everybody away.
no, it was Pandora Tomorrow.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I didn't play much of those either way.
I don't even know if Chaos Theory had multiplayer. I don't know. It was definitely Pandora Tomorrow because you had the mercenaries and the spies
Okay.
who had to steal shit, and the mercenaries who were trying to kill them. That was fucking tense, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, so all right, so Ghost Recon has this thing where it's like it's basic it's basically Splinter Cell Conviction multiplayer. Like you can mark targets and then you aim your gun at it and your gun locks onto their head and you don't have to do anything. And then when like 4 people ideally have 4 targets marked, right? 3 other players, and when one of you fires, all 3 of you will fire simultaneously.
I mean, that
so you can
sounds
just,
like Ghost Recon.
Yeah, but that was never a mechanic in the older Ghost Recon.
Right.
So it's really cool. Like we played one stealth segment where we all marked a dude, and we all had our guns trained on him, and you can see like the laser pointing thing, and you just all fire, and it goes into slow motion. It's just like do 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 do, and just 4 dudes go down, and it has the awesome cover system from Splinter Cell Conviction, where you can like move from cover to cover really smoothly. Which, so I went and I picked up Conviction yesterday because I don't know what happened to my copy of it, but it's still like my favorite Splinter Cell game. And I was like, man, there's a level in that game where you just don't. You're like, it's like in Iraq, and you have an AK, and there's no stealth. It's just like shoot dudes. And it's basically like I'm playing it, and I'm like, man, this is fucking Future Soldier. This is Future Soldier. Like aside from all the gadgets and all the shit, this is Future Soldier. It's that game. And it was cool. I was like, it's neat. It's like they took those ideas and made it into this more fully realized thing.
Well, that's cool. Maybe I'll check it out then. I wasn't expecting much from it, so I'm actually kind of surprised to hear that it's good.
It's neat. I would definitely recommend playing it if you're into that sort of thing. If you're into like stealth shooters. But I was gonna say Conviction has. I didn't know this. Tycho actually posted about this from Penny Arcade. I didn't know Conviction had this. It has like a face-off mode where it's 2 spies going at it, and it's like there's enemies in this area, and you just like have to take out these enemies while there's another spy taking out the enemies. And I played it, and it's fucking insane. It's so tense. I couldn't even handle it. I was like, I can't. This is not like.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's not like like I'm gonna play Call of Duty and just fucking play Call of Duty. It's like you fucking gotta be on your ass. You gotta be on your toes. Because fucking the spy, he's gonna fuck you
That's cool as hell.
with a spy dick.
Ubisoft has always been really good at making cool multiplayer modes for their predominantly single-player games.
That's true. Assassin's Creed had a really cool
Yeah,
one.
like I would never have expected Splinter Cell or Assassin's Creed to effectively translate to a multiplayer game, and yet they've pulled it off twice. And that's really cool. They're really good at
Especially
that.
since like Brotherhood got turned around in like a year.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm sure most of Brotherhood's development time was spent on the multiplayer, considering the single player was pretty much just an expansion of 2, from what I understand. But I think it's really cool that they have enough creativity there that they can take a game that's a single player game and make those concepts usable in a multiplayer situation. And they did it with Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed, and I think that's and they both come out to be unique experiences.
Yeah, and both stealth games, but still.
It's not like Splinter Cell, they gave you like a horde mode for Sam Fisher, you know,
Hmm.
or there's not like a
They,
there's not a
actually,
death match.
there actually is a horde mode in
Oh well,
Conviction,
god damn it! You tell me these things after I open my
but
stupid.
it's a stealth horde mode. You can do it stealthily,
Okay,
but it's mostly just shoot dudes.
all right. So is that all you've been playing? Because I haven't been playing much. Been busy.
Let me see. Playing a lot of mobile games, but who gives a shit about that? Played more Ghost Trick, which is warming up. It's getting good.
Sweet. Yeah, I've still been just trucking through Pushmo. I'm almost done with it actually. I only have like 2 more worlds
Jesus.
left in it. Dude, there are like fucking 16 worlds with 19 puzzles in each world.
I'm just surprised it held your attention this
It's
long.
really fun. That's all I'm saying, and I want to finish it. I actually replayed the first 2 Max Paynes this week in
How'd that go?
preparation for Max Payne 3, which was supposed to come out Tuesday and is now not. For
Well,
PC,
why did it get delayed?
till June 2nd. Yeah, it's like 3 days. They're like having they're having like a worldwide release now instead of having it out on early first.
Well, all right.
Either way, it's out on console. So if you're listening to this, you may have already played it, but I'm not playing that shit on console.
I was gonna play it on console because I couldn't wait, and I've been hearing such like amazing things about it. And then like, I saw the screenshots on Steam, and I was like, "Oh my fucking
I
god!"
know, dude. It's got DirectX 11. Oh my.
I was like,
Oh, it's gonna
"Oh,
be so
fucking sweet ass fucking parrot Hawaiian shirt that he's wearing. I want that in high. I want the high res texture on that."
fucking, consoles can't even do 1080p, and my computer does it for everything.
God damn it!
That's all I'm saying. But no, seriously, I can't wait to play that shit, dude.
Oh,
I
God,
saw it at PAX East, and
it's gonna be so good.
I went back to the booth every day with the little patch they give you after you see it, so I could get every single Max Payne shirt. Because they didn't remember you from day to day.
Oh my
it
god,
looks
it's
so
so
good. It looks
awesome.
so good. I can't wait.
Oh, I played Deathspank,
Oh, how's that?
based on your recommendation.
I didn't
and-
recommend shit. I just said Ron Gilbert was involved. Which
Yeah,
I guess
you were
counts
like-
as a recommendation, but
You were like, well, I knew that, but you were like, I played it. You said you played it,
I never said
and I was
that.
like, you did.
I haven't played it, so I wouldn't have told you I played it. I haven't.
You're the only one I know who knows who Ron Gilbert is. I think. Oh no, you said you had it,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I heard it wasn't very good, and you're like, well, I bought it because Ron Gilbert,
Yeah,
and
I
I was
did.
like, all right. I read on his blog that he wanted to tell like a personal story with it, and I was like, really? That's interesting. So my roommate has the game, and I played it for like maybe like 3-4 hours. It's fetch quests, but it's got really funny dialogue.
Yeah.
They call someone a taco wench, which I kept giggling at like a little girl.
I mean, the
He comes-
sequel is called like Thongs of Virtue.
Yeah,
Doesn't
and
really take itself
it's
seriously.
it's got the voice of Captain Quark.
Oh, that's cool.
That's Deathspank. That's his voice.
Oh,
So
that's
he,
cool.
and he's all, "Hey, taco wench." It makes me giggle every time. But anyway, Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, that's it. Pushmo, Max Payne, dabbling in Diablo. I haven't had a lot of time to commit to Diablo.
Yeah, so you're only like level 10. I found my first mighty weapons,
Sweet.
which are barbarian-only weapons that look fucking sick.
Oh god, fucking Blizzard art design, man. Always in the right direction.
I accidentally found some images of legendary weapons, and they fucking look amazing.
God, I bet they do.
Oh my god, they're
Well-
so hard.
I'm pretty much out of things to talk about unless you just want to fucking jizz
Talk
over
about-
Diablo 3 for the rest of the evening.
Let me take a look, see if there's anything here worth mentioning. Dragon's Dogma came out.
Everybody wants to play open world Monster Hunter.
Oh, the new
Oblivion
Ron
by
Gilbert game got
Capcom.
announced.
What?
The new Ron Gilbert game got announced.
Oh, what is it?
It's called The Cave. And it's called an adventure. They call it an adventure game, but it's not a point-and-click adventure. It looks like Trine.
Oh, Double Fine's doing it.
Yeah, it looks like Trine, and it's fucking... it's getting poor. Like the trailer's getting poor reception. It's kind of a boring trailer. It doesn't really show anything
It
or
looks
just
pretty.
yeah. Yeah, it's got different characters and stuff, but I don't know. I'm sure it'll have a great story. So I'm sure it'll be fun. I just the trailer is poor. It's a bad trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I'm looking at it. I definitely see trying.
It's kind of a boring trailer.
It's just people running.
Yeah, and it's I don't know.
Like literally, it's people running. It looks kind of like maybe a Trine Limbo type game. I don't know.
Maybe they
It'll be
just
fun. You know,
Yeah.
it'll be worth playing.
maybe they just don't have like any of the cutscenes done or something.
You choose 3 characters out of the 7 total: the monk, the adventurer, the hillbilly, the scientist, the quote-unquote adorable twins, the knight, and the time traveler. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that. That sounds rad.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll pretty much do it for this episode of 2D. Thanks for listening.
Thank you,
This,
friend.
These should be going up pretty much every Saturday from now on. The last one got delayed a little bit due to technical difficulties and lazy artists.
Thank you for being a bitch.
I love you, Vanya.
You can go to hell. All right.
Alright, later, guys.
No, see now I have to say it. I love you too.